Well, FC Barcelona headed into the Estadio Bernabeu looking for their 5th consecutive victory in El Clásico and found it a difficult task with Xabi Alonso on the sidelines and his side taking the 2-1 victory. El Clásico did not disappoint. We had goals, we had red cards, we had penalty kicks, and we had drama. Here are the updated standings in La Liga right now. Real Madrid creating a 5-point gap at the top of the standings above Barcelona, and looking forward to the games coming up in the near future. Welcome into our Golazo studios. I am Ian Joy alongside Mike Grella, 2 former players getting the opportunity to have some fun with El Clásico, and welcome into everybody out there who is watching as well. Grell, El Clásico did not disappoint. Entertaining game. We got goals, we got drama. Your initial thoughts and reaction from the game?
Initial thoughts, reality check. Slap in the face a little bit for Barcelona fans, Lamine Yamal. The recognition that you have to compete in these games, reality check for the high line, reality check for some of the injuries that they were having. A lot of talking before the game, but then when it came, I think the team that competed better was Real Madrid. Tchouaméni, monster inside the midfield, and they had, I think, executed an easier game plan better than what Barcelona did. A
lot of superstar performers for Real Madrid in this performance, in particular Kylian Mbappé. He took his tally now to 12 goals, obviously, in 9 matches against Barcelona in El Clásico. That is a ridiculous record to have, but a top performance, not necessarily perfect performance with the missed penalty kick, but of course in these games you need those superstars to really step up, and he did once again.
Mbappé, the best in the world, and guess what he's best at? Running the line and running behind and the pace, right? And so that high line, he's licking his lips. He's just waiting for his moment in that game. He's probably thinking the night before, hey, this is exactly how the goal's going to happen, and it was probably carbon copy to what he thought up. He ran the line a couple times. It was close. Right, it was offside, and then when the goal came, it's as easy as you like. Once these really sharp players can time the line, run the line, and get behind, he's never going to miss too many chances, puts that one away, puts Barcelona in a really difficult situation. But Mbappé, he's been very good for Real Madrid.
His shots pretty much emphatic. His shots on target even better, and then transitioning that into goals compared to some of the greats who have played in El Clásico. Look at the goals, Grell. 12 goals in 9 matches in El Clásico. That is remarkable. Compare that to Karim Benzema. 16 goals in 46 El Clásico matches. And then the great Cristiano Ronaldo, 20 goals in 34. He's scored more goals than he is playing games right now in El Clásico. What's the difference for Kylian Mbappé in these games? Where is he having most joy, and how is he finding the goals?
The big difference, I think, is, again, his best quality is timing the line and running behind. So like we just spoke about. The other thing is that's changed from last season is it's his team now. It's clearly his team, right? It's not Vinny's team. It's not Rodrigo's team. It's not the midfield's team. As Modric is not there. It's his team. His responsibility is his. So he knows in the big moments that he has to produce, and these are the biggest moments. Now they create a 5-point gap against Barcelona as well. But the way he led the team, the way that he performed, obviously missing a penalty in the game doesn't help. But the chances speak for themselves. 12 goals in 9 matches is ridiculous.
Well, Kylian Mbappe's shots, as I mentioned already before, it's 35 shots now. Transitioning that into shots on target, 25 shots on target, and of course you see the reaction with 12 goals. Quite remarkable. Now, obviously, you've been an attacker yourself. I've watched you play. Obviously, we played around similar eras as well. He must be licking his lips going up against this Barcelona side that left himself vulnerable. You talk about the high back line. Now, my question to you would be, why would Barcelona not try and change their tactical approach when you're competing against this guy who's got tremendous pace? He's obviously an excellent 1v1 finisher. Why do you think that Hansi Flick persists with this high back line with that type of pace?
I think we need to be very clear, and this is something I really want to explain, because even on our channel, on Golazo and Paramount, we always talk about this high line, right? The goal that Barcelona scores today comes from pressing high up the field, and they get something from Güler, and they're able to score an easy chance. So they do benefit also from this high line. But high line can mean many things. And everyone you speak to say, okay, it's okay to play with a high line, but then there's little tweaks you can make to it. You can play with a high line. Real Madrid, by the way, played with a high line in this game, plays with a high line. Just in the Champions League against Juventus, play with a high line. But as you know, as a defender, when you don't have pressure on the football, you have to drop. Yeah. You have to have the correct body position, side onto the play, and you have to be able to drop. And when the goal comes, a Real Madrid player is able to turn into the midfield, and that back line doesn't drop. They're not recognizing, hey, we're in a position here where we can get done at the back. They're still trying to inch forward, and that's where they're getting themselves into trouble. You can play with a high line, but when there's no pressure on the football, you have to immediately drop. Right, and you were outside fullback, right? You've played with big center backs that are, you think of the best in the world, Virgil van Dijk. Those are the guys supposed to be saying, hey, drop, back in, turning in those moments. In those moments, they're so naive to saying, okay, we're still kind of just going to stand here in no man's land. And with one ball against the best players in the world, the Vinny Juniors of the world, the Mbappé of the world, this is ABC. This is ABC football. Yeah. I would love to play against a team that's going to play that high in moments where my midfielders can get turned and I could get side on and start going in behind. So that I think that's where the danger comes. There's nothing wrong with the high line.
Yeah, of course.
But you have to recognize the situation when to say, well, hold on. We don't have pressure on the ball now. We're in trouble. Let's drop.
Yeah.
It's okay to drop. It's okay to play with a high line and then drop.
Yeah.
But their line always just keeps on inching forward until they get hurt. And teams that are not even that good have been able to hurt them. So for Real Madrid, I'm sure today knew that they were going to get this type of chances.
I totally agree with you, and I think we'll break that down in just a little bit of time, because obviously tactical approach, starting 11s, the formation, I think we can dive a little bit deeper into it in a moment. Certainly with experience, sometimes you have to go against your coach and be able to do it yourself out there on the pitch, especially when it's not working out for you. Now let's head over to Spain and speak to Phil Kitromilides, who was actually calling the game live in Spain. Phil Kitro, great to see you. First and foremost, we got to talk about your opinion on how this whole game played out. That was a cracking El Clásico to watch.
Certainly was, and it's the game that always delivers. You know, we big it up, El Clásico, hours and hours of coverage, and we're talking about it, and surely it can't deliver, and it does. It delivers with quality football. It delivers with drama, excitement. We even had a bust up on the touchline as well. It was a game that had absolutely everything, and it was a game that I think had the correct winner, right? I think Real Madrid are worthy winners in this game. They did much more than Barcelona in the final third. Interesting to hear your analysis of the high line as well, which obviously has been commented on a lot. If I can just add one little thing to it, I think the absence of Rafinha is absolutely crucial for Barcelona. Remember, Barcelona had 7 players missing today, one of them being Rafinha, who is he is the first line of defence in leading that high press. We also saw Lamine last season be really, really good at winning turnovers in the final third, and he's not been doing that this season. And it's not just about where the defensive line plays, it's about where everybody else plays and how everybody else plays in the spaces that you allow to your opponents, which opponents have been able to be finding a lot more spaces this season. So yeah, Real Madrid worthy winners. They scored 2. They could have scored a lot more. And it was a terrific game to watch, to call, to enjoy, to be a part of.
Hey, Phil, what did you make of Lamine Yamal's performance in general? And also, how much do you think the absence of Lewandowski and Rafinha affects it, not only on the defensive side of the football, but also, you know, the back line of Real Madrid not having to worry about other guys that could really make their own play and hurt them or pin them back in Lewandowski's case? So what do you make of Lamine Yamal today?
He was subdued, wasn't he? It was not the kind of effervescent, bubbling kind of display that we expected to see from Lamine Yamal, particularly after those comments in the build-up, which were a little bit ill-advised about Real Madrid and their effect on the referees. Everybody was expecting Lamine, or certainly Barcelona fans and players were expecting Lamine to step up, and he does love the spotlight. He loves the scrutiny. I think he likes the pressure. He puts the pressure a little bit on himself by saying these kind of things, but he didn't deliver today. He didn't deliver, and then Rooney Bardghji came on in the second half, and he had to drop a little bit deeper. I think he does miss Robert Lewandowski, doesn't he? Because someone who is a centre forward of his quality will fix defenders in a way which allows you the kind of space which Lamine Yamal isn't getting at the moment. He's coming back from an injury. He doesn't seem physically 100%, like he's not doing the things that he was doing last season at the speed with which he was doing them. So I think he's just lacking that little bit of a spark. And yeah, he was definitely subdued today on a day where Barcelona really needed him to step up, both defensively with that high press and obviously offensively as well.
Phil, when it comes to El Clásico, emotions play a big part in it. Always difficult sometimes to control your emotions. Sometimes emotions get the better of you. There were a number of top-class performers. Vinicius Jr. deserves a ton of praise for his performance individually. I thought he was brilliant, in particular that first half. Very dangerous 1v1. In the second half, a little bit of a quieter performance, as it was for all of Real Madrid in that second period. But then the substitution happened. Xabi Alonso decided to take off Vinicius Jr., and he reacted in a very intriguing way, throwing arms, very vocal, into the direction of Xabi Alonso, then proceeded to walk straight down the tunnel only to appear back on the bench moments later, I'm sure by advice. What did you make of the reaction from Vinicius Jr.? How do you handle this if you're Xabi Alonso? And then finish off with, of course, this was a very good performance from him.
You've got kids, Ian. You've seen this before. It was a tantrum. It was a tantrum from Vinicius Jr. And I kind of understand his frustration. I totally understand his frustration. You guys have played the game as well. You know, when you are on it in the biggest game of all and you're feeling good and you know that you're playing well and it's a season where you've been questioned and you want to show the world what you can do and you're feeling good and playing well, of course you don't want to go off. I completely understand that. That kind of reaction, it's just difficult to in any way justify. Like I'm saying, I can understand your frustration. You cannot react like that. What's Xabi Alonso going to do? Well, he completely ignored him when he walked off. You know, he was waving his arms around and gesticulating, and you could see him walking past Xabi Alonso, who wasn't even looking at him, which I think was the best way to handle it in open doors. And then behind closed doors, I think maybe some words will be said. It was a brilliant performance, though, from Vinicius Jr., and that was the kind of performance that Real Madrid need from him. Linking up with Kylian Mbappé as well. I think we know that in terms of goals scored, Mbappé is going to be the main man, but Vinicius Jr. has still a really big role in this Real Madrid side, and it's shifting a little bit, and it's difficult for him to, I think, get used to it because he was so loved, so protected by Carlo Ancelotti. He was Carlo Ancelotti's guy, and he knew that, and he felt that. And he's not Xabi Alonso's guy because Xabi Alonso is using him as one of the Real Madrid squad. And he knows he's a really good player, but he's just one of many really good players that he's got. So, yeah, what can I say? You can't really accept that from a high-class player to behave like that like he did when he went off. If we were just talking about the football, I'd love to come on and just talk about his performance because I thought he was really on it today, but that was really poor from him.
Well, listen, between me and Grella, we put together our own starting 11 from children, just between the two of us as well. Phil Kitromilides, thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Pleasure, guys. Anytime.
Grella, let's get into it. Obviously, tactically breaking down this game is never going to be easy. It is El Clásico. Real Madrid finally get the victory by 2-1. Kylian Mbappé, important goal for him. Jude Bellingham, a very important goal. Great to see him back in the lineup. A bit of a mistake from Arda Güler. So in your personal opinion, where was this game won or lost when you're looking at both starting 11s?
For me, it was these games, and we know this, is about competing first. Right, we know that one team's going to play with the high line. Real Madrid also going to press forward. Both teams, by the way, defensively not the best, right? So for me, it was in the midfield. De Jong, Pedri, Lopez against Bellingham, Tchouaméni, and Camavinga. And they understood, for me, more the task at hand. Also, I think for them, the task was Yamal. Right? You have to find a way to keep this guy quiet because this guy makes them tick. This guy is the guy at the end of the day that's going to hurt you. Not so much Torres, who scored a hat-trick in the midweek, but also it was the end of work from the squad and other players. Not so much Rashford, who's excellent around the box, but he's the guy that orchestrated that you have to really worry about. On the flip side, I think that Barcelona had more to worry about. And Güler and Bellingham, Vini Jr., Mbappé, it was a Swiss Army knife, more ways to hurt you. Bellingham was running, making runs, well-timed from the midfield from start to finish. And then these two guys competed. And I think, that was to answer your question in short. Tchouaméni, Camavinga, big competition in there, big physicality in there, did not let Barcelona breathe. Their only real danger came from a turnover from Güler, but they were not able to create, not able to breathe, not able to play in a comfortable game due to the midfield of Real Madrid. Average age for Barcelona, 24 average age, and the youngest starting 11 for Real Madrid in 20 years was 25, just above 25. Now, Xabi Alonso's come into the Bernabeu. He's done an excellent job handling individuals, and it's not easy with this group of players because there's a lot of world-class talent, but you're also dealing with human beings that are very vocal. Emotion sometimes can get the better of you. But I think if you're looking at Xabi Alonso, the way he set up, understanding that Barca were going to play their high back line, the midfield battle, as you pointed out, was going to be very important. But how important is this guy here, Jude Bellingham? Obviously got his goal in the game, but being able to rotate players, push players, motivate players. You've played with some greats in Major League Soccer and also in your time in England who basically, vocally, managed to move players around and keep them on their game. How important is Jude Bellingham for Xabi Alonso going forward? You mentioned the age, right? And I think there's a lot of maturity happening, not only with Bellingham, but in the entire Real Madrid squad, and when to manage games, how to manage games. because they have their weaknesses, right? They have their weaknesses on the counterattack. They have their weaknesses defensively. But in a game today at home where they knew, hey, guys, we have a chance to make a 5-point gap. These are the ways we're going to take advantage of Barcelona. They did that on the day for me. They created a lot of chances, energy levels, fitness levels, maturity levels. For me, Real Madrid won all those important battles. And then you look across the back line as well. I thought Carreras did a fantastic job on Lamine Yamal, not letting him breathe, not letting him get comfortable into the match. Valverde on the other side. Good to see Carvajal come back also as well in this one and manage out the game. But I thought in a big moment where with a game about competition, Real Madrid were the first ones to show up.
Real quickly, Grella, before we do close out here, Arda Güler made a big mistake in the game.
Yep.
He's had a very good start to the season, but a couple of times he's caught your attention, sometimes just switching off. The second big mistake he's made this season also had one against Marseille that also cost them a goal.
Yeah, and for me, so obviously Güler, you read the headlines, you watch the social media, you watch the highlights, you see, wow, that the unbelievable talent that he is. Obviously in Serie A, we cover Yildiz, right, so his counterpart, and unbelievable talent. But then in big moments, in big games like this is where you learn. You can't make those mistakes, right?
Yeah.
We look at the greatest players. We have Modric now in Serie A as well. Modric, 99, 98% passing, never makes mistakes, makes everyone around him better. So as a talent that he is, in those moments, in those areas of the pitch, you have to be super careful. Because without conceding that moment, that chance, I think Barcelona could easily lose this game 3-4-0 convincingly and really put this game away early on.
Barcelona came into this El Clásico game with the previous 4. They scored 16 goals, largely frustrated in this one. But there were comments going into this one where Lamine Yamal previously had a lot of success in El Clásico. He was very vocal, talking about the fact that he had the opportunity to make a mockery of Real Madrid, how easy it was previously. Lamine Yamal did a lot of talking going into this game. Quiet performance from him.
Yeah.
Real Madrid, how much did those comments maybe inspire Xabi Alonso in Real Madrid? Now, I know Xabi Alonso in his press conference said, we don't care. I don't want to talk about this one. We're focusing on our performance. But I can only imagine, I've been in the dressing room, the locker room, you have too. Yeah. Sometimes what the opponent says can inspire you to close them down, limit their opportunities, limit their impact, and go and win the game.
We won 4-0, don't you remember last season? Look, we love this from a neutral standpoint because, it adds some gas to the fire, right? It adds a little bit of spice. And so we love this. And a young kid, right, really bold, able to do this. And then usually can prove you wrong. But for me, it was a reality check on the day. And I think it's also a reality check to fans watching Lamine Yamal. I was the first guy to say Lamine Yamal, gold ball, one of the best I've seen. Makes me really enjoy watching football for sure. But when Lewandowski's not there, when Rafinha's not there, when other guys are not there that can take the load off of him, then he gets downgraded. And when you think about the greatest players in the world, still young, but the Messis, the Ronaldos, they never got downgraded. Didn't matter who you put them with. They always performed. And I don't think he's that same guy. I don't think he has the same gear. I don't think he's going to score the same amount of goals. Wow. I don't think that he's the same guy. Not yet. I think that he's one of the most beautiful, fun players to watch. But today was a reality check to, hey, come back down to the real world. Lewandowski, if he's not around, you get downgraded. If Rafinha's not around, you get downgraded. Had a really difficult time today creating any chances. And I think the one worry, too, is as soon as you're not having a good game, a little bit of lack of energy as well on the other side of the football. And that can creep in to be an issue moving forward. But obviously, young, great talent. This is fun. But little reality slap today, I think.
Sometimes you don't lose, you learn, and I'm sure the youngster will learn from this defeat. Real Madrid winning the game, El Clásico, by 2-1, thanks to goals from Jude Bellingham. Of course, a very important goal for Jude Bellingham. And Kylian Mbappé, his run in El Clásico continues. 12 goals in only 9 games. And of course, Barcelona did get the one.